everyone, so it's me, it's Allie. I'm back again, and I wanted to hop back on. I know it's been a long time. I was working on getting some things together so that I could make better videos, and then I also just got bogged down with work and with like real life stuff. So I wanted to come back and talk about college. So, college, part 3 in my life transition story. So, college for me was a chance to reinvent myself. If there's one thing trans people are really good at, it's being chameleons, it's reinventing ourselves, it's kind of like adjusting to like what we think people want us to be. So I saw the opportunity of going from high school to college as an opportunity to be the person I wanted to be, or be the man, if you will. So I had ideas. I was going to go to college. I was going to get involved in student government. I was going to join a fraternity. I was going to find that man in me. That's what I thought. I thought that I could leave these weird things about me behind as I went off to college. And it didn't quite work that way. Now, certainly college was a good experience for me. But again, I walked out of college with, well, I'll talk about it, but needless to say, today in my world, there's only one person really from college I still talk to. Now, I have a few friends from Facebook, a few friends from my fraternity, but somebody that like I'm actually in contact with, or that I've actually talked to on the phone within the last couple of years, just one of my old college roommates. Hey Chris, if you watch. Yeah, so I went off to college and I thought, here are my answers. I'm going to meet girls. I'm going to have lots of sex. I thought all those things might happen. I didn't know how to. I went off to college. I was a virgin. I still very uncomfortable around girls when it came to like dating situations. Being friends, not uncomfortable at all. But trying to date girls, I didn't know how to like relate or talk to them like I was a guy. And there must have been something that like I've said before, like I am convinced boys and men can smell chum in the water. And what I mean by that is if there's something about you that's off or doesn't quite fit in, then the boys, they can sense it, men can sense it. This is why, like, I always say, like, my dad's friends seem to gravitate to my brother more than me. And I think it has a lot to do with authenticity. That's not like a shot at them or anybody else. That's just, I wasn't authentically me. And people sense authenticity or lack of. And I mean, I sense it in myself. So, I go off to college. I get in student government right away. I make some friends. Again, often kind of the awkward, outer fringe guys. I pledged a fraternity, which I later de-pledged. And the guys in it were kind of awkward, marched to the beat of their own drums, because these are the places where I could kind of fit in. So that was okay. It really wasn't what I wanted, but it kind of worked. I met some girls, dated a little bit, nothing serious. I didn't have my first like real girlfriend until the end of my freshman year of college, and she was kind of controlling and mean, and that did not end well. She cheated on me, big surprise. And like I said, by the end of the year, I de-pledged the fraternity I was in, mainly because of some things that were going on that I didn't agree with. So when I came back to college my sophomore year, and in freshman year, like things that would go on, yeah, there was minimal cross-dressing. Like typically at this point, it was women's underwear. And it was easy to hide. If I started dating somebody, I could get rid of it, throw it out. So that was simple. Because I would also deal with like moments of guilt and things like that. And sophomore year, I would start up again, and I de-pledged the fraternity, and I rushed again. And I I didn't get a single bid for many of the houses I rushed. But then there was another house that knew me from student government. They wanted me. And so I accepted their offer and eventually became pledge class president. And, I was still involved in student government. I got involved in Greek life. Those things were good. Sophomore year, I met a girl that I got serious with, and we started dating, and I would date her throughout the rest of my college career. She got smatterings of who I was, although I still hid it really well. There were some things within an intimate context that we kind of explored or shared, and I got close to like maybe sharing some truths with her, but when we would eventually break up, she kind of threw some of that stuff in my face, and so then I kind of took the attitude, I can't tell anybody anymore about these things. I need to keep them to myself, because I'm a freak, I'm broken, and no girl's going to want me if they know about these things. So I kind of went away from it. So, like I said, I can't really complain about my college years. I did well in school. Certainly, for example, I was in a fraternity, and I'm not really friends with anybody still from the fraternity. Like I said, there are a handful from Facebook, and this was even before I transitioned. It just was awkward. I would do things that I thought guys were supposed to do, and then they'd look at me like I was an idiot. So, again, I walked out of college from the actual college experience at school with a girlfriend that I was engaged to, and like a couple friends, and that was it. Now, my life back home, where I grew up, those friends I had from high school, I was still very good friends with a lot of them, and I played Dungeons and Dragons, I did things like that. I started exploring my feminine side through video game avatars, through Dungeons and Dragons, occasionally playing the female character, which I get crap from some of the guys. Like, just good-natured ripping because these were good guys. So they'd be like, why are you playing a girl? And I'm like, well, because a party should have a girl, and so I'll do it. And I would rationalize in my head, well, this is just me exploring my femininity. No, bullshit. This was me getting an opportunity to kind of let the real me out for a little bit. And I would play games. I know college was a time period, that time period of late teens, early 20s. I did question if I was transgender. But I would say to myself, there's no way I can be trans. I'm too big. I'm too masculine looking. I'll always look like a boy in a dress. How could I be trans? I can't be trans, right? Because trans people, you get this idea from movies and television. Trans people are supposed to be like kind of effeminate looking, kind of andro when they transition. I didn't have anything like that going on. So I just convinced myself there's no way I could be. But meanwhile, I played games like, if I was a girl, I wouldn't wear that, I wouldn't do that. Or if I had the opportunity to try out being a girl, I would totally be up for that. Never once really making the connection, boys and men don't do that. Men don't wonder what it would be like to have a vagina. Not in any serious way, okay? Like, yeah, you hear those jokes that guys will say, which is complete garbage, because I can tell you men wouldn't know what to do. If confronted with that, they'd curl up in a fetal position and they would just hide the day away. So I mean, I had my support network back home, my friends back home. I had some girls in college that I was friends with. And I would go and spend the night at their places, and we were girlfriends. Like, I look back at it now, it's so obvious. I would go spend the night with a girlfriend. We'd stay up all night talking. We'd order pizza. This is a girl that I found attractive, but I also liked her on a friend level. We never messed around. We never did anything. Now, guys in the fraternity would think, you're sleeping with her. And I'd be like, no, I'm really not. We're just friends. They wouldn't believe me. So college, I did have friends that were girls, but as you get away from college and as couples start pairing up, girlfriends aren't okay with you being friends with the girls if you're a guy. And then once as we get into like being engaged and married, there's just girlfriends aren't okay with it. And if you're a girl, your guys aren't cool with you being friends with a guy. So those things kind of like went hand in hand. So I started seeing female friends go by the wayside as they started getting serious with certain guys. So college ends and I go home to student teach. And I'll just kind of wrap up my, my college sweetheart, we got engaged, and then she broke off the engagement. And then I ended the relationship. I still had my friends. We all ended up back in the Chicago area after college. And so I was tight with them. We were tight, we'd play Dungeons and Dragons, we'd go to movies, we'd do things that kind of like, gamer guys do. What you call geeks or nerds or whatever. I never saw them that way, and I still don't. Because they accepted me within the realm of who I was for what I was willing to share with them. Never questioned. They were supportive. A lot of these guys stood up in my wedding when I eventually got married, and most of them are Facebook friends of mine now. They accepted me when I transitioned, and if I went back to Chicago, I'm sure I could get together with them, and even though I'm me now, we could still get along and have a good time. So I'm thankful for all them. So, you watch this, Gene, Randy, Dan, Rob, Mark, thank you for, accepting the weird me, even though I hid a lot of who I was back then. So that was my college years. My college years really weren't filled with angst because I kept myself busy. And I learned in college, filling the hole. I had a hole within me that I was constantly trying to fill. And college kept me occupied enough to where I didn't focus on the hole so much. The hole would hit me really badly after college. And I'll talk about that. And probably I'm going to take 2 more videos before transition. I'll talk about my early years after college, getting married and all that stuff, and then I'll talk about later and with my kids, and then I'll get into talking about transition and how all that played out. So, like I said, I try to keep my videos between 10 and 15 minutes. So we're at 13 now, so I'm going to stop talking. I'm sorry videos have taken so long. I promise I'm going to try to get at least a couple of videos out a week. For the time being, I'll get out 1 life transition video a week, and then I'll do at least 1 video just about current things that are on my mind. They could be trans related, they may not be trans related. Just kind of some insight as to who I am as a person. So, one other thing I just want to make an homage to. Last Friday was National Coming Out Day, and it was also, October 9th was my 2 years since I started HRT, which is, in the trans world, a big deal now. I was off hormones for 3 months last year, so I'm not quite at the 2-year mark yet, but there are some things that are going on, and I'll talk about that in a separate video as far as I'll talk about HRT, hormones, what my regimen is, what my journey has been regarding that, because it's been kind of messed up, but it's good to know. But anyways, I just want to end this saying, if you're watching this video, you're wondering, can I come out? Can I do this? Yeah, you can. You can be you. I didn't think I could. I'm going to be 45 next month. And for me, the best decision I've ever made was to transition. And it was hard, and the first year was very hard. I've lost a lot, but I've gained so much more because I've gained myself. I've gained my authenticity. And so if you're watching this and you're thinking, can I? If you're a parent watching this and you're thinking, what kind of life is my child going to have? Transition means they're going to have the life they're meant to have. So it's 100% completely worth it. But anyways, I'm going to stop talking and say goodbye for now. Much love to you all. Bye.